Hey, good evening. It's really amazing to have you guys here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're going to be listening to Codfish's rendition of Do I Wanna Know from the Arctic Monkeys. So, I remember hearing this routine back in 2018 when Codfish was battling Batako. And Batako is a really incredible Japanese beatboxer. I haven't heard much of his stuff in recent years, but I always thought that this particular routine was pretty slept on. At least from what I remember it being, it was very simple. But it wasn't about the complexity, it was about the atmospheric build, and just because of its simplicity, you could really focus on the quality of the beatbox sounds being generated and the overall structure of the piece, not just in terms of the original song, but the way that Codfish modified it for beatbox. And I just loved the build, I loved the style, I loved the chorus and robustness of it, and I always thought it was very slept on. So, especially when Batako's first round was really good too. So, to hear it as its own piece, I'm really excited for. Not to compare it in any kind of battle setting, but just to enjoy it as the music it is. And I'm excited to see if Codfish did anything to modify it. So, I'm really excited just to jump into it, and I hope you guys are too. So, without further ado, let's do it.
Do 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 do. Do 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 don't
That was so sick, dude. The song just brings back a lot of great memories. So, Bobbly and Codfish are two beatboxers that heavily influenced the way that I approach the throat bass, or that sound. So, I really take great inspiration from Bobbly and Codfish in terms of the throat bass, and just to be transported back through this piece is Very heartwarming. I love it. So something about this piece that I also really like, that I can actually draw parallels with in terms of not just other beatboxers, but other musicians. When it comes to very refined artists like Shogo or Dimash, when you listen to their music, it's very polished, it's very refined, and there's just this very velvety, smooth kind of texture to it, which almost, at least on a subconscious level, elevates them above the layman, you know? like when we think of celebrities, it's very easy to become starstruck by them, but why? They're just regular people. Well, yeah, but the regular people whose work in their field has impacted us on such a tremendous emotional level from a distance, since it is from a parasocial type of relationship, it's very easy to elevate them to an untouchable status as a celebrity. But when listening to this kind of music, it's so warm. Not because it's very polished. Like, he's practiced these sounds millions of times, I'm sure, and he knows exactly what he wants to do with it, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the sounds are still very raw. They're very coarse and a little rugged, and that's what I actually really love about Codfish's style. When he breathes in very obviously. You just get some kind of just unfiltered rawness when you listen to his music, and I love that. It feels like you're making s'mores around a bonfire, or you're just chilling outside around a tiny little fire, just vibing with your mates. And man, I love this kind of music. Oftentimes when I listen to music of pretty much every genre, whether it's rap and metal to classical to Renaissance, Baroque, rock and pop, hip-hop, jazz. I listen to everything because I find a lot of value in each specific field of music. But very simple music, like lo-fi, low-fidelity music, or just music like this, where it's so raw and it just gives you that feeling of feeling warm and feeling actually being able to be sociable, not just watching an incredible artist perform their incredible talent from a distance, but have much more of a closeness with that artist because of how human it is, because of how attainable it sounds in comparison to something that's so polished and refined that it doesn't even feel like it can come from a human being. But this connects you to him, and I love that so much. This is probably some of my favorite kind of music. Like, the music that I listen to the most is lo-fi music, which is a very simple melody with a very simple beat under it, basically. You can have varying renditions of that, but that's the basic structure. And with this, you just get that basic melody, that basic beat. It's so simple, but it's so beautiful for atmosphere building, and it's just so palpable, especially when you get this rawness coming in from his voice and his style. It's just, this is the music that, this is probably my favorite kind of music, to be honest. I love being able to connect with an artist, and when they make their music so approachable and make themselves so approachable through their music, that's what I love so much. Being able to connect. I always feel like music is a connection of people through music, through the medium of music. So to be able to forge that connection so seamlessly through something so rugged and coarse, yeah. Oh yeah, I love this. Let's just jump into the analysis. Not that I'm gonna really scrutinize it in tremendous detail, but I will pick it apart and give my thoughts on it. How much can you scrutinize lo-fi? It's gonna be tough, but let's do it. I'm here for the vibes. Let's jump into it.
Do 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 do.
Just right off the bat, I remember in his 2018 version, he started off really small and dynamic, something like a mezzo piano to piano, or medium softness to soft. And here he's starting off on a mezzo forte, which is a medium loudness, because he knows how he's going to build this piece, which is adding the various layers, where he did that originally too in 2018, but here there's more of this just directness. It's not so much in a battle sense where he was battling Batako, but now it's just a solo piece. Now it's just him and his audience connecting, vibing, no stress about the battle or winning or whatever. This is what I feel music is. That connection with your audience, with your mates. Love it, dude.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, just the way he breathes in. It's just he doesn't shy away from that extraneous sound of the breath. It adds to that rawness. I love it. That human element. Yeah, and his kick drum, adding that breath, exhaling some of that breath, because beatboxing is all about breath control. It is about understanding how much breath you're intaking, how much breath your sounds themselves take, and understanding what inward sounds can you use to intake air, what outward sounds expel that air, and allow yourself to keep the momentum, keep the groove going consistently. And typically a lot of beatboxers have to refine and polish their inward sound so it doesn't sound so obvious that they're breathing. But Codfish just fully leans into that. He's saying this breath doesn't need to be on some intricate sound. This breath in is just a regular breath in. It adds to that human nature. It adds to that musical roughness and coarseness that contributes to his style. And it's so good, dude. I love it so much.
Don't
Yeah, and that snare, you can hear a little spit in it too. Just it's just a really clean inward K. It's coming through nice. It's not perfectly polished like the rest. His snare is coming through perfectly within his style. I love it, dude. And he's having so much fun. I love that. Like, his eyes are smiling, his face is smiling. He's having a good time with it. This is music, man. This is music. I love this. Yeah, just have fun with it. Right here. So, for those that don't know, throat bass is very difficult to not just pitch well, but to pitch in an upper register. My throat bass range is pretty limited in notes that are the most comfortable in my chest voice. Examples of that would be so that would roughly be my range for my throat bass. But he is just going in the stratosphere for his throat bass. Just it's so tough to still make a robust throat bass sound, but just be right up there. So when he initially approached it, you get a little bit of this rocky start, but again, that rockiness just pairs so well with the coarseness of his style. So it's so good, dude. Like, let's listen to it again. Listen to how much breath is going into that kick drum. You like it's I like the way he closes off the sound here. Gives a little bit of contrast into the piece. I love it. Yeah, just that extra little grit in his breath. Having a little bit of that chest bass of Do. Yeah, just so gritty. His placement of kick drums versus snares, it's not always. There's variation. There's a flow with the kick drum, a boom, 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 versus. I just love having some contrast. It doesn't have to be anything amazing. There's sounds we've all heard before, but it's just, it's simple, but just playing around with those simple things just adds so much more depth to something so, like, you can appreciate it in its entirety because of its simplicity, and anybody can appreciate it in its simplicity. That's what I love so much about it. Well, one of the reasons I love it so much anyway. Look at him. He's just having fun. Yeah, dude, Codfish, that was so great. Loved your whole vibe. Your style is just inveterate, and you have a very specific proclivity towards just molding your throat bass into something so raw, and you're just able to connect with it so easily. And I'm not referring directly to you, but to your audience. We are able to connect with it so easily because it is very human. It's very coarse, and it sounds attainable in comparison to something like Shogo or Dimash, where it's just very polished and refined, and we put them on these pedestals. To be able to just feel your humanness, just being able to connect with an artist in their art form, in the beauty of their art form. You know, you've been a beatboxer for a long time, man, and I've listened to all of your stuff, and your sound is just something that I've taken inspiration from, even when I sing opera, just in terms of, for many people, when an audience that doesn't sing listens to opera, they might already assume that those vocalists are put on the pedestal immediately because they have refined something. But when I sing opera, even though I try to keep my voice very smooth and I try to refine it, the aesthetic, the vibe, the coarseness from this kind of music, I take great inspiration from when I perform. That's why when I perform, I try to present myself in a way that's still very approachable. I try not to overemphasize the fact that I'm very grand and I'm very pompous. You know, I try to make my gestures, my liveliness very sharp, very direct, because it matches my personality very well. I'm a very direct and very forward person, and that might not mix well with my social awkwardness. I'm still learning to read the room, read other people's emotions. It's rather difficult for me, but I still do my best. But ultimately, I will not stray from the character and the value system and the code of ethics that I've built for myself, which is being very direct, where it's being compassionate is telling people what they might need to hear, not what they might want to hear. In terms of the music, it's just a role I did when I was in university was Leporello from Don Giovanni. And for those who don't know, Don Giovanni is a drama, but there's a lot of points of humor throughout the entirety of the opera. And Leporello, my character, was that comic relief character. But he was also a lead role. He was the sidekick of Don Giovanni himself, the primary lead. So the funny thing about one of the performances I did as Leporello was when we were doing our final bows, I got a bigger applause than Giovanni himself, just because of the way that I approached Leporello. It was very histrionic. Even though it was very boisterous and loud, you were able to connect with him as a character. You were able to connect with him because, not just because of the way he was written, which is a very flawed yet very kind person who was just caught in a terrible situation as to being a servant for a terrible man. But it's just, I love being able to connect with that hominess, that simplicity. People love Leporello, not just because of the way that I performed it, but just because of who he is as a character. Codfish, dude, that was so good. Really felt your style. Your music always makes me feel a certain way, and I love just this warm vibe you give. It means a lot, man. Good job, mate. Amazing stuff. Before you click away from this video, just to let you guys know, my live streams are Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you guys just want to hang out and vibe, if you guys just want to ask me questions, or if you guys would just like to talk about ideas or philosophies or whatever it is that you guys want to discuss, I'm going to be there for Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot that you're here. I really do appreciate it. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I really do appreciate you being here again. I can't say that enough, and I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.